Hi everyone, welcome to our channel. I hope you guys are having a great week. Today we are going to use these Dollar Tree pillar candles to make some new candles, decorative candles in jars using mostly Dollar Tree items. So the first thing we're going to do is go over our supplies list. So we are going to use some of this peppermint oil from the Dollar Tree. They just put it out this week. A few different glass jars also found at the Dollar Tree. Of course, two of their pillar candles, and then the Dollar Tree acetone nail polish remover with some cotton rounds, some masking tape, and washers to use as weights to hold the wick. And we're also going to use a popsicle stick to stir with and some pipe cleaners. We're also going to need a pair of tweezers for pulling out the wick and some electrical tape. I'm also going to use these stickers. I found these at Dollar General, and these stickers I found at the Dollar Tree. I'm also going to use some gold and white ribbon that I found at Dollar Tree, as well as their gold berries and some of their snow-covered ferns. Then I'm going to use some different colors of glitter that I picked up at Hobby Lobby, and 3 different colors of paint, and the Premier Blue Raffia that I picked up at Dollar Tree with some Mod Podge, a sponge brush, a few different paint brushes. We'll need a hot glue gun and a pair of scissors. We're also going to need a pot of boiling water and some oven mitts. So let's get crafty. So the first thing we're going to do is use our acetone nail polish remover and cotton to remove the pattern on the first jar here with the gold lid. Now the pink jar, I just decided to leave it as is. We thought it was pretty. My girls really liked it, so they wanted to leave that one the way it was. And then the gold one here, we just take the dotted paint off of it, and it only takes off that top coat. It actually doesn't take off the finish on the white paint, which was really nice. So it still has that glossy finish. Now taking our candle, I put it in hot water. It wasn't quite boiling yet, and then brought that up to temperature. I did have a spoon under it just because the bubbles were trapped underneath of it there and was wanting to knock it over. So be mindful of that. And then as you can see, it's starting to boil. To melt. This is a few minutes in. It took almost 30 minutes to melt the whole entire candle. Now I will tell you, this one we used to fill the gold candle glass votive jar. The pink jar, we tried melting the candle in the microwave, and it actually melted in about 6 minutes. We stopped it halfway through and stirred it, and then finished melting it in the microwave. So you can do it that way if you choose to. Just be careful. So taking my popsicle stick, I stirred it around a little bit. Once it's about halfway melted, that helped bring some of the hotter wax up to the surface to melt the wax on top. And then now that it's almost melted all of the way, we just use our tweezers to pull out the wick, and we knock that little bit of wax off that hadn't melted yet. So now let that cool down for a few minutes before you pick it up. And while the rest of the wax is melting, we can just tie the wick to one of the washers, and that will be the weight to help hold it down. Now the wick does come with a little metal piece on the bottom of them, but they seem to be almost falling off, so I wasn't quite sure it was going to hold, which is why I'm using the washer. Now for the wick here, we're just going to wrap it around a pipe cleaner to put across the top of the jar. Now you can wrap the wick around a pencil or a dowel rod and just tape it to the top there. I just used a pipe cleaner because that's what I had on hand, and then I just taped the pipe cleaner right to the sides of the jar here to hold it in place while the wax cools. Really don't have to tape it into place. The only reason I did that is because I have kids and I wasn't sure if they were going to come by and move it or touch it, since it was in the kitchen, which is a high traffic area in our house. So as you can see, the washer is holding that down in place. So now we are going to pour some of our oil into the glass votive here with the melted wax, and then you can remove the votive out of the water and then give that oil a stir. Then all you're going to do is pour your wax into the jar and let it cool. Now, for the first one, I did put some coloring in it to try to make it a different color. It doesn't mix. It doesn't work. I'm sure there's a special kind of coloring you need to use for candles, but had never made a candle before, so I was just going to give that a try. So once you have those in, you just want to let those cool, and this is the first candle completely done. Like I said, we just left that jar the way it was, and then for the white jar, we decorated it with the stickers that we found at the Dollar General. So we found these really pretty gold snowflake stickers. They're a hard plastic kind of sticker, but they did bend fairly well to stick to the jar. They have a nice, good sticky surface on there, so they held really well. I didn't use any glue or anything. And then I did take this gold ribbon and wrap that right around the center of all of the snowflakes, and then just tie the ribbon here in a double knot. Now, I didn't put a bow or anything on here. I didn't want to take away from the beauty of the snowflake, but I did cut the tails here into a dovetail, and then just pulled it tight on either side of the snowflake there. Now, taking some of those snow-covered ferns from the Dollar Tree, I just cut the tip off of two of them, two different sizes, and then used some hot glue to attach that to the jar. And then I just slid it right underneath of the ribbon, and that helped hold it in place while it was drying. So just two small pieces I felt was enough to decorate the front here. And then taking those gold berries, which I also found at the Dollar Tree, I cut three of those off and glued those to the front, just using hot glue again. You do want to be careful that you don't have the hot glue too hot so you don't melt the styrofoam. So then once that was glued on, I did cut one berry off for each one of the snowflakes, and then glued one of those right to the center of each snowflake, right on top of the ribbon. So that is the white candle completely finished. I love so much how this one turned out. I'm planning on making a few more for gifts for Christmas. Okay, so now we are going to decorate these empty pillars. Now that they are empty from the candles, we can use these as vases. We can make new candles. Really, there's lots of different things you could use these for. So we're going to take some electrical tape, which is a great tape because it seals really well on glass. So it's a great tape to paint over. So we are going to just wrap that in a spiral style and then start painting over this. I'm going to use the Waverly Ocean Blue paint and do about 1.5 spirals, and then using the exact same sponge, I'm going to use the Folk Art Patina chalk paint and start blending that out up to the lighter color. If you just use the same sponge, it's got the darker color on, and the more you use it, it starts to blend out to the lighter color. So it helps create this ombre look, as you can see here. So then once I had that one done, I added a little bit of white to the patina chalk paint using the exact same sponge, and then worked my way up another 1.5 spirals. And then for the very last spiral at the top, we're just going to use the all white folk art chalk paint and work our way the rest of the way up to the top of the votive. So now that we have that painted in this ombre look here, we're going to start brushing on some Mod Podge. So this Mod Podge I'm using on the bottom, it already has like an iridescent glitter sparkle to it. So I didn't add any more glitter to the bottom of the jar here. And then the second layer, I used Mod Podge and this turquoise glitter. Then the third layer, I did silver glitter on top of the lighter blue with a little bit of the blue glitter. And then at the top, I just used white glitter. Then I covered the whole entire thing with another layer of Mod Podge to seal all of the glitter. Once it was mostly dry, I pulled off the electrical tape. You can wait until it's completely dry. It was just late at night and I was trying to get this finished. So I pulled the tape off a little bit early, but you can see how nice and crisp the lines are by using the electrical tape. It has a nice tight seal on the jar, and it's a really great tape to use. So now that I have all of the tape off, I did set it aside and let it dry a little bit, and then I started to take these really pretty rhinestones and pearls like border type sticker that Dollar Tree sells. They also have them in like a tan color or like an off-white, and I did find them this week in this color teal blue, which I wish I would have found them a few days earlier. I might have used the blue stickers here, but I did just use the white rhinestones with the pearls and wrapped it around where we had the tape at before. Now taking some of that blue raffia that I found at the Dollar Tree, just wrap it around your fingers a few times, gather it in the center, and then wrap the long end that you have left around the center of the bow. And then I just took some of the hot glue, once I had it wrapped around a few times, and put a little dot of hot glue right in the center, and then glue that extra piece down. Then to tie in the rhinestones and pearls, I took one piece and put it around the center of the bow. so that I could have that little center tied off with the pearl there. And that is the bow, and I just attached it with some hot glue to the top. And that is our whole entire jar finished. I love how this turned out. I actually just took a bunch of their floral flowers that they had from this wedding supply things that they had out a few months ago and just popped that right into the center there to use it as a vase. I just love it so much. I am so thrilled with the candles and how they turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed learning how to make these. I really enjoyed showing you. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And here's some other videos from our channel you might also enjoy. I hope you have a great rest of your week.